Section 50 of Christmas and Christmas Lore. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Christmas and Christmas Lore by Thomas G. Crippen. Section 50, Old Christmas Eve, Wassailing Trees. We have already treated of the wassail bowl and the ceremonial visit paid to the cattle by the wassailers in Gloucestershire and Herefordshire, remarking that wassailing in Somerset, Devon and some other places is an altogether different, though no doubt related, practice. It is in fact the survival of a pleasant rustic custom which Herrick thus describes. Wassail the trees that they may bear you many a plum and many a pear, for more or less of fruit they bring as you do give them wassailing. The ceremony is deemed proper to Old Christmas Eve, i.e. the Eve of Epiphany, which corresponds to Christmas Old Style. First, a verse of the traditional wassail song, "Wassail, wassail all over the town," or one of its many variants, is sung. Then the company proceed to the orchard, bearing a large jar or bowl of cider. They surround the largest or most fruitful tree, toast it in cider, and dip a branch of the tree in the liquor, or pour or sprinkle cider upon it. Sometimes guns, loaded with powder only, are fired, and kettles beaten to make a great noise. Sometimes 3 shouts were given, each followed by a blast of a horn, and before each shout all stooped and rose as if lifting heavy sacks. Another custom was to place a crumb of bread or cake and a little salt in the fork of the tree. This appears like sympathetic magic. Dr. Rendell Harris thinks it a survival from some forgotten cult of an apple god, the apple being perhaps the first fruit in England to be improved by cultivation. The songs, or nonsense verses, that are sung vary in different places. This, from Somerset, seems about the least idiotic. "Wassail, wassail all round the town, the cider cup's white and the cider's brown. Our cider is made from good apple trees, and now my vine fellows will drink if you please. We'll drink your health with all our heart. We'll drink to 'ee all before we part. Here's 1 and here's 2 and here's 3 before we go. We are 3 jolly boys all in a row." Here is another Somerset chanty. Apple tree, I wassail thee to blow and to bear. Hatfuls, capfuls, 3 bushel bagfuls, and my pockets full too. Hip, hip, hurrah! In Devon and Cornwall the tree spirit was incarnate in a small bird, presumably a robin or tomtit. He, or it, was represented by a little boy who climbed the tree and cried out, "Tit, tit, more to eat," on which a piece of bread and cheese or some cake and cider was given him. The usual ditty was, "Here's to thee, old apple tree, whence to bud and whence to blow, and whence to bear us apples enow. Barnfuls, bagfuls, sackfuls, lapfuls, hatfuls, capfuls, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah!" Of this there were several variants. Either roasted apples or toast was put in the cider jug, and what was not drunk was sprinkled on the trees. The ritual varied in different places. In Devon, a pailful of cider, into which roasted apples had been broken, was set in the middle of the orchard. From this pail each person filled an earthen cup, and going to a tree drank part of the contents, and threw the remainder, with fragments of apple, at the foot of the tree. A piece of cake dipped in cider was placed in a fork of the tree for the robins. This custom survived in 2 or 3 orchards near Minehead, West Somerset, till the early years of the present century. The proper time for wassailing trees was Old Twelfth Night, corresponding to 17th January, New Style. In Hampshire, in the neighbourhood of the New Forest, the ditty was, "Apples and pears and right good corn come in plenty to every one. Eat and drink good cakes and ale. Give earth to drink and she will not fail." In Kent and Sussex, a kind of half-belief in the value of these incantations appears to have survived almost until within living memory. The Kentish chanty was, "Stand fast, root, bear well, top. God send us a yowling crop. Every twig apple big, every bough apples enow. Hats full, caps full, bushel, bushel, sacks full, and my pockets full too. Hooray!" If no gratuity were forthcoming, this benediction might be neutralised by a curse on the trees. In Kent, the rite was sometimes performed in Rogation Week, and in Sussex on New Year's Eve. End of section 50. Recording by Jane Bennett.